happy Sunday to everybody. Super excited to be here with you. It is Sunday on July 24th, 2022, and I'm your host, Joanne Angel Barry Cologne. Just in case you didn't catch that lovely live commercial going on, you are watching Joanne's Healing Within. Super excited to be here with you. Remember to go ahead and share, like, and comment on today's show. This way here I know that you are here with me. Now, perhaps you forgot or didn't have time to check out last week's show, where I had an amazing guest on last week's show, Gabriella, screw up her last name all the time. She's our medical intuitor and the founder of Alive Health Solution. We spoke about, what did we speak about? I don't even remember. That's so funny. Anyway, I'll come back with that topic of what we spoke about last week because I can't remember right now in this very moment, but it was a definite topic that you want to tune in on. And I don't know, I got a brain fog going on. Anyway, don't want to stay too much onto that. Do want to give a shout out to all my amazing advertising partners. Let's go down and name them all as we have, as I just spoke about. Gabriella, who is our medical intuitive and also founder of Alive Health Solution. We have Kitty Foss and Amy Martin, the host of Intuition of Your Souls. Then we have Joe Monkman, who is the Shaman healing practitioner and advocate of wellness advocate. Kendra Greer, our astrologer. Lisa Nice, who is our independent beauty consultant of Mary Kay. CJI Lopez, she's the host and also publisher of the Author's Porch podcast and magazine. And just to show you her amazing magazine, for those of you who like to hold a magazine in your hand, they're available on Amazon. Then we have Nick Rafter, who is our real estate agent and also our writer, editor, and journalist. For those of you who are writing your next blog or even book for that matter. Last but not least, we have Dr. Terry Moss, who is actually our guest for today. She's a doctor of natural medicine, and I'm super excited to share her on for today. Before I go into that, just want to share some amazing insight based on what's going on with our energy. As I'm sure every one of you tune in to find out what's going on, cosmically speaking, in addition to our fabulous guests that show up each week. So let's talk a little bit about this amazing energy that we do have going on today. Now, if you've been watching the show on a regular basis, I've mentioned here and there how the moon rotates every 2.5 days, which means that the moon changes zodiac signs. And why I'm bringing that up today, the moon happens to be in Gemini. Gemini is an air sign, but why I'm bringing that up today is based on the elements, meaning the body parts or organs that Gemini is associated with. And those body parts are your shoulders, your arms, and also your bronchial tubes and lungs. Now I'm bringing that up because, again, metaphysically, when we think about our body in regards to different symptoms that show up, with the moon being in Gemini, and it's going to be there, it was there actually yesterday, today, and tomorrow, you may experience flare-ups in your bronchial tubes and your lungs, which may become alarming, but because I'm sharing this here with you, I'm bringing this to your attention to pay attention to if that symptom shows up. Also, when we talk about the shoulders and arms, that's associated with the throat chakra, and also the arms are associated with your heart. So pay attention if these symptoms show up, not to be necessarily alarmed with these symptoms showing up, but of course, by all means, I'm not telling you not to go get yourself checked out, but be aware that these symptoms might actually be inflamed just due to the fact that the energy of the moon is concentrating and reflecting on your body. Because again, when we talk about the energy starts from the crown and works its way down, and it very well could be causing a floodgate in those particular chakras, such as the throat and the heart. So pay attention to that. And I felt it was really important to bring this to the table and understand this. Also, when we think about Gemini's energy, it is ruled by Mercury. And right now, the planet Mercury is associated with Leo energy, which is where the sun is as we speak. And that energy in itself between Mercury and the sun, that's a lot of energy that's trying to flow through our chakra system. So again, just wear a caution. If any of these symptoms should show up for you, I would recommend just allowing yourself to rest and connect within and just ask your body what your body is trying to tell you, being that you're experiencing these symptoms. So what I like to do now is I like to pull a card for each and every one of us so we can better understand how to utilize this amazing moon's energy and not get alarmed so quickly, not go into a state of fear because we're experiencing a little bit of inflammation, a little bit of discomfort in the body. An interesting fact that I also want to bring up in regards to after tomorrow, the moon is going to be moving into Cancer energy. And I just want to make sure I have that right. So Tuesday and Wednesday, the moon is going to move into Cancer energy. And I think that's so appropriate for today's conversation that I will be having with my guest when she and I come together. Because Cancer energy is associated with the stomach, the breast, and the womb. And when we talk about the stomach, breast, and womb, the stomach obviously is your solar plex energy, how you digest, which is your gut health for that matter. The breast, again, we come back into the heart chakra. And then the womb is associated with your sacral energy. So three parts of your body that, again, the moon energy might be trying to pull down into, and you may be creating, your body may be creating some inflammation in those sections of your body, creating some insight for you to better understand to what your body's trying to tell you. So let's pull this one card, and I ask that you just take a moment to take a breath, breathe, release out what doesn't serve you, and then be aware and be open to receiving the message I'm about to give you. And that message is master teacher. When we speak about master teacher, know that you are a master teacher yourself. You are also the master student, for that matter. You are learning a lot from your body. Your body is the teacher. Your body is teaching you to have become more attuned to what it is you're feeling and how the environment may also be causing your body to feel a certain way. The chakra is the third eye. You can begin to create a healthier body by becoming more aware and attuned to your actual body and what your body is trying to tell you. That number 38 is associated with 11 in numerology. Now, in numerology, the number 11 is the master teacher. You're here to be the master healer of your own body. You are here to be your own doctor, which is so appropriate to today's show. That 11 is also associated with the 11th house energy in astrology, which is all about our community. But in reference to the 11th house, which is Aquarius, it's in Saturn right now. Saturn's energy is associated with Aquarius in retrograde. So when we think about it, your structure, which is your body as well, could really be coming apart so it can repair itself. So any symptoms that you have showing up right now could actually be there so you can repair and create a new mindset so you can begin to heal your body, mind, and spirit. So I think this card is so appropriate for today's topic. And the chakra to work on for today is your third eye, to use your power that you have to really create this healthier version of yourself, this healthy body that you get to be in and loving on your body. So for today, I'm inviting you to take time to spend in your third eye, become more aware of what symptoms are showing up in your body and what it is your body is trying to tell you so you can be the doctor of your own body and begin to heal those symptoms. So with all that being said, I'm going to take a quick commercial break, and I'll be coming back with my amazing guest, Dr. Terry Moss. And today's topic, it's a really great topic, and that topic is metabolism and gut health. And believe me when I say, you definitely want to have a pen and paper with you, because I do believe that Dr. Terry Moss is going to be changing your mind about what metabolism is and how it actually is connected to gut health. I'll be right back.
Each of us has a mission. What's your mission? Would you like to become a community health resource specialist so you can help your family and your community? For more information on this new training, email me at terry@morsewellness.com. That's TERRY @MORSE wellness.com. You can become a community health resource specialist.
If you are turned off by conventional medicine and their mantra, do you want meds for that? There's a better option. I'm Gabriella Mihalichin, medical intuitive and healer. Let me help you find the root cause of your illness and guide you through healing. My intuitive method directs your body to heal itself and removes barriers to healing. I invite you to schedule a session today at alivehealthsolutions.com.
Hello, 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 and welcome back to Joanne's Healing Within. For those of you who are just tuning in, I am your host, Joanne Angel Barry Cologne. And if you've missed the very beginning portion of today's show, I urge you to go back and watch. You can do that by watching on our live platform, but not now. You'll have to do that on the replay, actually speaking, which is on Roku, YouTube, Twitch TV, Instagram. Oh, and there's so many more. Let me mention one more, Amazon Fire TV, that you can go and watch. I do want to bring out one thing that I did mention in the show earlier, which is our card for today. Being the master teacher. The number 11 is associated with being the master healer. And I think that's so appropriate with today's show based on the topic that's going to take place. Now, I have my amazing guest, Dr. Terry Morse, here with me today, and she's a doctor of natural medicine. And just like her, although she's got years of experience, you too can become the doctor of your own body and start really learning to heal your body, doing the right way, by coming every week and watching the show, because I bring amazing guests on, such as Dr. Terry, to talk about natural ways to healing your mind, body, and spirit. So the chakra is your third eye. This is an opportunity for you to start creating a healthy mind, body, and spirit. And why not start it today? So grab your pen and paper so you can start taking notes, because this is going to be an informative class where you're going to learn something and also work on healing as well. So let me introduce my amazing guest, Dr. Terry Morse, who is our doctor of natural medicine. Terry, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for taking time out in your busy schedule to be here with us. Let's have a conversation. Great. Yes. So if you can, in one or two sentences, just explain who you are and what you do, and then we're going to dive into our conversation.
Sure. Well, thank you for being here and setting everything up so well. Your card that you drew is actually so perfect for what we're talking about today, as you mentioned. So this is cool. I have been in the natural health field for over 50 years, and I am a health educator, basically teaching people how the body works so that you can take care of yourself more effectively with the most advanced technologies and understandings that are out there. It's really important to have the most advanced work because we need that today. So that's my background. I've done a lot more, but you don't want to hear all of it.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So, and today's topic, as I was saying in my introduction, based on being your own healer, this is a perfect day. Today's topic is about metabolism and gut health. So, Terry, I know a lot about metabolism, but when I was having conversations with you, and just based on some of the questions that you and I went back and forth on, you sort of made me think about metabolism and what it really means. What does metabolism really mean?
Well, that's a really good place to start because it's a buzzword. A lot of people use that word, and rather unconsciously, thinking that it means, well, I'm either fat or slim. That's pretty much the bottom line. But that isn't actually the truth. Metabolism has to do with the way the whole body works. And that means at the cellular level, as well as the endocrine system, which is mostly your adrenal glands and your thyroid. As an example, first, I guess I want to say, first of all, Joanne, that my intention here today and every day is to help people get a better understanding of the entirety of the body and gain the confidence to be able to work successfully with the body without going to outer sources, people who think maybe they know what's right for you, but maybe they actually don't. Yes. You are really, as you have said, your best judge for what's going on with you. So all of this is about empowerment, because there are not sufficient people in the world today, even though we have a lot of people like myself who really fully understand the way the body works to teach people. And there are thousands and thousands of people today who are ready to learn, and it's very important. So I'll be starting a lot of educational training classes in the next 6 months myself to help people get a better understanding. So back to the metabolism word. You know, I spent quite a few years making a specialty of hair analysis, and it's a wonderful way to identify the metabolic rate of an individual based on the adrenal glands and the thyroid gland. And so given that, I often saw that there were many people who had an identifiable, objective, fast metabolism that were overweight, seriously overweight. And I began to understand eventually that it had to do with many factors other than what people think, such as the amount of food you eat. Some people who eat like birds are very overweight and don't understand how that happens, or they fast and they lose a lot of weight and then they eat a little bit and they gain it all back. And so what about metabolism? I mean, it's very confusing for most people. So probably about 50% of the people who have excess weight are fast metabolizers and about 50% are slow. So what is that all about? I mean, why? The weight issue is a huge one for people, but I'm focusing here on metabolism because everyone needs to have a balanced metabolism. So it means literally metabolizing your food, meaning breaking it down. It's a fire process. It's the body's internal fires that literally break down the food and assimilate it into the body. So that's the metabolic rate. And some people are assimilating food so fast or breaking it down so fast because their metabolism is racing. I'll give you an example. Somebody who is, there are a couple of examples that are great for fast metabolism. One would be a person who's burned out completely. I mean, they have been going and going, high level professional, doing really great. Everything's been going great for years. And all of a sudden they're in a collapsed state. Like, I can't move. I don't have any energy. I'm really pushing myself and I'm gaining weight and it's crazy. And I don't understand what's going on. That's a metabolism that was way too fast. That was like when you're driving your car. Let's say your foot is stuck on the gas pedal. You might crash into something eventually, right? If it's just there. So this person crashed and burned basically. And so nothing is working. The body simply will not work anymore because it's in burnout stage. And so that person has to slowly back out of that by doing a lot of rehabilitation in terms of relaxation and time for themselves, other supplements. We don't have to go into all of that. But the point is, the metabolism was so fast that it collapsed to zero. But that didn't mean slow. It meant an exhausted fast metabolizer. On the other hand, there's a fast metabolizer that's still going. I mean, really going strong, you know, the alpha person, you know, and they're gaining weight like crazy, but eating hardly anything. And they're burning on fumes. They're going on fumes, running on fumes. And that person is going to collapse eventually. But that's another type of fast metabolizer. Whereas the slow metabolizer is something completely different that you might not actually be able to identify yourself, because it's not based on weight. It's not based on energy, because you can be exhausted with no energy and be a fast metabolizer. That's crazy. But it does have to do with how fast your food is breaking down in your stomach. It can be so fast that you're not getting anything out of it. Just whizzes right through. That's it. You're getting nothing. So that's a fast metabolizer. I mean, there are a lot of people in that stage. Probably, I expect to tell you, Joanne, in New York, I expect. Is that correct?
Oh, yes. Yeah. And interesting enough, the person who, quote unquote, might have the fast metabolizer may actually think it's a benefit. In their mind, it's like, oh, it's great. I metabolize food faster. But yet, as you said, they're asking, well, why is it they're not thinner and they're actually fatter? So I think this is a perfect conversation for many people out there who may have the mindset or even receive insight, you know, through the medical industry in regards to misinterpreted information. And this is a great time to have this conversation. So to start changing people's mindset and getting them to understand what the actual situation is.
Right, because it also depends on cellular potential, meaning the electrical potential of your cells. And, you know, later in the conversation here this afternoon, I'm going to give some tips on what a person can do, but just right up front, we need to gain more confidence in our own ability to identify what's going on with us. And what I mean by that, a lot of people have heard about muscle testing or response testing. There are ways to learn how to do that for yourself. Because as an example, what I will often do for someone who's overweight is tell them to eat heavy cream. Eat a lot of heavy cream. Eat whipping cream. And I don't mean the sugar. I mean the cream. A lot of butter.
I remember you saying that on the last show, and you were blowing my mind. You were blowing my mind. I'm like, okay, she's actually saying to people to do something that most dietitians and nutritionists would suggest you avoid doing. So it's yeah, very mind blowing.
Well, it works. And you see, I've just made 80 years. I've gained, I've got my credentials. I've made 80. I'm so proud of that because I have a great metabolic rate. I have great energy and I eat, probably 4, 6, 8 ounces, 10 ounces of heavy cream a day and butter. It's got to be good quality. Of course, quality is everything. So, that's another discussion, but I want to go back to, the processing of the food, metabolizing of the food. Okay. So keeping your metabolic rate balanced. So a lot of people, I just have to say this, a lot of people have lost their gallbladder due to misinformation and misdirection by some other folks. The gallbladder should never be removed because if there's a problem with it, it can easily be fixed in a matter of weeks. So that's just something to put back there, and we can talk about that at another time. But when there is a gallbladder, when there isn't, you got to be more careful. There's specialty things you have to do, but you can still do it. But if you've got a gallbladder, you should be able to handle fats really nicely. And a lot of times people say, well, I love bacon. Oh, and I love whipping cream, but I won't let myself have any. Or I love salt, and no salt. When your body says you love something, you've got to look at that closely because there's so much misinformation out there. I will tell you, Joanne, that probably if something is popular or popularly thought, it's wrong. End of story. Because the majority is always going to be off track and way behind the 8 ball, way back, not current with the research. So it's very important to have current research, such as the books from Dr. David Brownstein. He's in Michigan. He's a medical doctor. None of his patients who got the so-called COVID thing last year or the year before were in the hospital. And so he gained a lot of flack from that because he did the right thing. But he's got books that are awesome on the thyroid and on the salt your way to health. Got to get that book. If you want to be healthy, if you want your metabolism to be right, and anybody who wants information, I've got a great article that came from Mercola, Dr. Mercola, Mercola.com. You can go there. It's an article on salt he did about a month ago, but I'll email that to anybody who wants it. Let me give you my email address. It's Terry, my name, with a Y. T-E-R, my parents expected a boy, right? Terry at Morse, M-O-R-S-E, wellness.com. So you can email me and I'll send you that article on salt and a bunch of other things too. So Joanne, how's this for a break?
Before you go further, and considering you already gave your email address, there is a flyer that has that information there, and I'm sure it will post up in a moment, but we will take a commercial break. So this way here, when we can come back, we can continue this conversation and also move on to the next questions that I have in mind that I really want to share out with our audience. So flyer has just been shared. We're going to take that quick commercial break and we'll be right back.
Hi guys, I'm Kendrick Cortez Greer, personal astrologer and astrological counselor here in Brooklyn, New York. I've been an astrologer for over 23 years now, providing astrological readings, counseling sessions, workshops, and corporate events all throughout the tri-state area. I've been very blessed and lucky to have clients all throughout the United States and beyond. If you're interested in a reading that is warm, heartfelt, honest, and conducive to speaking to one of your best friends, please contact me at 917-863-7528. You can also email me at kendrickstar@gmail.com. That's Kendrick, S-T-A-R, @gmail.com. And for you Insta people, find me on Instagram at Kendrick Cortez Astrology. I look forward to hearing from you soon. Toodles.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kitty Foss.
And I'm Amy J.
And we're Intuition of the Soul. We are a Facebook and YouTube group that has created a sacred spiritual place to look at your spiritual practices.
And there's too much to tell you about what we do, but let me tell you, we have weekly activities, we have monthly activities, and you are not going to want to miss our spiritual practitioner series. So join us on Intuition of the Soul.
Aloha.
Hi, I'm CJ. The Author's Porch is a community where you find good books and good people. We collaborate with services that deliver quality to authors and publish a magazine for authors by authors. Come by, let us feature you or review your book. Coffee is always on, and no matter what time you arrive or where you come from, the porch light is always on.
Hello and welcome back to Joanne's Healing Within. I am your host, Joanne Angel Barry Cologne. And for those of you who are just tuning in, remember to share, like, and comment on today's show. And you'll have to come back and watch on the replay on most of your platforms, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and YouTube, just to name a few. I have my amazing guest, Dr. Terry Morse. We were just chatting about metabolism and gut health and how you need to be in charge of your metabolism. So, Terry, you were mentioning before we went to commercial break about a book that you feel everyone should go out and get. What was the name of that book?
Salt Your Way to Health. Salt.
Yes, SALT, guys, SALT, S-A-L-T, SALT, your way back to health. Not have salt in your diet. So I will have Terry on at another time to talk about that particular topic. But let's stay focused. So Terry, my big question is, can we really affect our own metabolism, and can we change it? Like, really, can we really do that? And how?
Thank you. That's a really, really important question. So a lot of people do recognize in today's world that what our thoughts and emotions are do affect everything in our bodies. Some of your guests that you had on the commercial relate to that kind of thing. And it's because our bodies are 70% water. So everything that we think or feel is a frequency. And when we think or feel something, it's shifting the structure of that water within our bodies constantly. And one of the things that's so important, especially in our world today, is to understand how much power we do have, how we can totally affect our bodies. Now, yes, I'm going to get into some physical things too, but let's start at the top. The thoughts create the emotions, create the physical body. It's like H2O. A lot of people don't realize, or they realize but don't think about it, that H2O has three forms: steam, water, and ice. Those are all H2O. So thoughts, emotions, physical body. The only difference is the rate of vibration. So our thoughts are influencing. We can influence our metabolism that way. It takes a little time to filter down into the physical body, but we can do that. So not going to go in that direction on what to do there, because there's so many people talking about how to influence our thoughts and our emotions and how to do it properly. But then there's also food. So if a person actually is a slow metabolizer, and that is not dependent on weight, then they need to cut back on their fat a little bit. They just have to be discreet about it. Make sure to take sufficient enzymes. And of course, in some of our previous shows, Joanne, I have talked about the gut microbes. And the microbes in the gut are not just the probiotics that people buy in the store. Virtually, I'm going to say virtually no one knows about the whole category of probiotics that are microbes that live in the soil that do not make colonies in the gut. And this is where the gut comes in, because when you have these microbes in your gut, they will literally, their food is, they will literally consume chemicals, heavy metals, glyphosate, GMOs, graphene oxide, spike proteins, any kind of chemicals, any kind of heavy metals. They eat those things, eat them. Imagine the power of that. Imagine if you can have these microbes in your gut constantly. Well, that's the God plan. That's the way it was for millions of years. We've changed it ever since, well, a few hundred years ago. We started changing a lot of things with the Industrial Revolution and chemicals. And now we've sterilized our soil. Everybody knows, especially in the United States, our soil is sterile. There's nothing there that's alive purposefully, so that can be grown on chemicals. That's just a whole nother story. But the reason I'm pointing it out is because the whole plan always has been that we eat our food from our gardens, and our gardens are grown in soil that have these life-giving microbes in them. Now, the microbes aren't there anymore. Even if you're having organic, that's not it. You've got to put these microbes back in. And I'm a supplier for that kind of thing. We'll go into that another time. But those microbes are incredibly important, soil microbes. Now, when they get into your gut because you've eaten plants that are from that garden, then they do their work. They will restore your metabolic rate. They will. Now, that's not the only thing. But if you can get rid of chemicals, which are highly stressful for the body, heavy metals, the body internally is stressed so much by various things that we have inside ourselves that we don't even realize. And so when you can get these things out, all of a sudden, you know how sometimes you have an aha moment, or you've taken a spa day, or you're on vacation and you just feel after 5 days, whoa, I'm finally relaxing and vacation's almost over. That's the way it goes.
Exactly. Exactly. Yes.
But the point is, Joanne, if you can have these microbes in your body, they can be de-stressing your body all day long, 24/7. And a lot of people would give anything to feel de-stressed. They say, oh, I'm taking magnesium, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm still stressed. There's a lot of internal work going on that's not in our best interests. And so these microbes are important. People have no idea, to turn to another topic, how much water we should drink. Half a gallon minimum a day. Half a gallon. And I'm serious. If you've got excess weight, probably a gallon. I know somebody who was drinking 8 gallons a day. Now, that's too much, I grant you, but a half a gallon is minimum. And I'd say a quart of water before breakfast for sure. Some people don't drink any water before breakfast. I'm like, and you expect your body to cooperate? Give me a break.
And Terry, if I can interrupt 1 second, since we are on the subject of water, I know that the last time you were on the show, you had mentioned something about putting into your water to help the individual with the mindset of thinking if they drink a lot of water, they'll be spending most of their time in the bathroom. I mean, that's like the biggest joke right now, where a lot of your life coach will sit back and say, if you want to stay out of people's business, start drinking more water, because you'll be spending your time in the bathroom rather than doing anything else. Could you just refresh my memory, and also let our audience know that there's something they can actually put in their water to help them digest that, to help them actually utilize their water as opposed to just peeing it out?
Well, it's such a good point, Joanne, and it's so simple. And that's basically what I want to imply or communicate here, is that health is simple, but you have to know the truth. And the truth is hard to find. So it's going to blow a lot of people's minds to realize it's salt that we're talking about, because sodium chloride is just the trash salt. We're not talking about that. But the good salt that has like 80 minerals in it, it could be Celtic sea salt from France, it could be the Himalayan sea salt, it could be Mediterranean, it could be Hawaiian, but some kind of good quality salt that has all the minerals in it, because good quality salt is about 83% sodium. And everybody says, well, that's a bad thing. No, it isn't. In the 1600s, the Swedish people were ingesting about 100 grams of salt a day. These are very, very strong people in their heritage. Why were they eating so much salt? Well, because you couldn't preserve your food without salt. There was no refrigeration. And guess what? In the early 1900s, when refrigeration came around, that is the first time high blood pressure became an issue. Get that? That's exactly what I said. That's the first time high blood pressure became an issue, when there was a decrease in the intake of salt. Today, we have maybe 3 to 5 grams of salt a day because people are afraid of it. Read that book, Salt, Your Way to Health by Dr. David Brownstein. It's an essential book. It will change your life. If you put the salt into the water, okay, I still got to go here, because when it goes to the cellular level, that sodium ion at the cellular level is going to pull the water that you've drunk into your cells, and that's called hydration. If you don't have that sodium ion there, that water just goes right through to your bladder. Then you're in the bathroom. That's your story.
Exactly. And I mean, let's give a little credit to those life coach out there who are actually saying it in a joking manner. They're actually right. So if they're drinking water that's not valuable water with the salt in, yes, you will be spending all your time in the bathroom peeing. But if you're actually doing, as Terry's suggesting, getting the proper salt, putting it into your water, or just chomping on it, as I know Terry does, it will help you in the process of actually getting hydrated and spending less time in the bathroom. So again, Terry, if you wouldn't mind, because we go through these conversations really, really quick, if you can just, one last thing you want to share on this break, in this segment, what would that be before we take that commercial break?
So Joanne, I've got about 2 more pages of notes here.
But we do have one more segment to go. But if you want to just throw a little something in before that commercial break,
I
feel free.
I do. And that is that when you have the right salt and when you have the right water, the right minerals and the right microbes, you're going to be processing your food better, which is metabolism, and you're going to have better protein absorption. So a lot of people say, well, I've got too much weight, but actually the fat doesn't weigh as much as the muscles, and you'll be making more muscle tissue. So your size will go down, your weight will decrease, but maybe not that much. So the protein absorption is essential. Of course, some people do feel that they shouldn't eat animal protein, and that's just not my orientation, because animal protein is the way we've done it for millions of years, and we can't change our bodies in a decade or two. So microbe colonies, that's it. You can go to commercial break.
Okay, but before we do, let them know how they can reach you.
oh, yes, right. My name, Terry, Terry, 2 R's and a Y, Terry at Morse. My last name is Morse, Morse, wellness.com, morsewellness.com. Okay.
Awesome. So we're going to take that quick commercial break, and we're going to come back, and Terry's got, like she said, she's got 2 pages worth of notes to share. Hopefully we can get through all those amazing notes, but if we're not, she'll be back on. And just to let you all know, she'll be back on August 28th. Slightly different topic, but we always flow back and forth between previous topics. And I'm going to probably have her on a whole many more times after that show too. So just note on your calendar, circle August 28th, because she'll be back talking about overcoming disease. So that's a good one too. We're going to take that quick commercial break. We'll be right back.
Hello, my name is Nick Rafter, journalist, writer, editor. I'm happy to be offering copy editing and line editing services at competitive industry rates. If you have a book or any document that needs to be edited and thoroughly looked through, please contact me at nickrafter@gmail.com. Let's discuss how to get that work done. That's Nick Rafter, NICKRAFTER, @gmail.com. I hope to hear from you soon.
Hey, this is Joe Monkman, and I am a personal development trainer. And that means that I help people step into their leadership roles, take their place as a visionary, really understand their own mastery in the world so that they can really find their place at the buffet of life. And if you want to know more, you can find me on my Facebook page at Joe Monkman and joemonkman@gmail.com.
Hi, my name is Lisa Nice, and I'm an independent beauty consultant for Mary Kay. I'm also a single mom of 5 and a physical therapist, so I love Mary Kay because it fits so nicely into my lifestyle. New year, new you. I'm looking for 15 faces, and it's a free either facial or a glam look. You get free samples, and you get entered to win a $200 Beautiful Kate Spade bag. So if anything about this commercial has interested you, like number 1, the opportunity, number 2, be a face. So call me, 908-546-0266. Try it, you're going to love it.
Hello and welcome back to Joanne's Healing Within. I am your host, Joanne Angel Barry Cologne. If you are just tuning in, remember to like, comment, and share on today's show. And you're going to have to come back and watch on the replay, because we are literally in the last segment with my guest today, Dr. Terry Moore. She's shared so much about metabolism and gut health. We're not done though, but if you do need to go watch from the beginning, do it after today's show, and you could do so by watching Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Twitch TV, and so many other amazing platforms. So Terry, as you mentioned before we took commercial break, you have like a whole 2 pages worth of notes. I'm going to do my best to have you be able to share everything that's on those 2 pages in this last 10 minutes of our show together. But before you do, my big question is, ultimately, we all want to be healthy and strong. How do we actually do that?
Well, that's a really good question. Yes, there are 5 things, and I make this very practical because these 5 things are really, really important, and a lot of people don't know them. If you do these 5 things, a lot of things will go right in your body, and you can shift your metabolism. First of all,
We said this before, but it's easy to remember your 5 fingers. Water, plenty of water, at least a quart before breakfast. At least a couple of quarts a day, half gallon a day for sure. Plenty of good salt. And I'm saying that plenty. Snack on it 5, 10, 15 times a day, or put it in your water, which I prefer to snack on it, because that will bring the sodium to the cellular level so that you can retain the water. By hydrating your cells, you're going to shift your metabolism. That's what people want to do. They want to shift their metabolism and be balanced. So there's water, there's salt, there's animal products like butter and cheese and animal flesh, whatever, and vegetables, and some fruit, no, fats. The 5th one is fat. Some fruits are great. Okay. I love fruit. I'm not knocking fruit, but some people can do too much fruit. And especially if you're overweight, you've got to be very careful about fruit, because that can increase depending on what's going on. I mean, everybody's different, but a lot of times when I'm working privately with people, I'll find that if there's excess weight, there's also excess fungus and mold and other pathogens in the body that actually feed on sugars. And so if a person is eating fruit, that can be the worst thing to do to lose weight. So salt, water, meat, vegetables, and fats. And the amount of fats depends on whether or not you have a gallbladder or whether or not your metabolism really is fast or slow. But of course, I help people determine that through testing, so I can do any of that for people. But those are 5 things that are important. And I want to give you a couple other sources, because it's important to understand how the body works in terms of healing, the healing process. There's an amazing book out there called The 12 Stages of Healing. 12 Stages of Healing. And it's by Donald Epstein, Epstein. And you can find yourself in that book. You can see where you are. Like, are you way at the bottom? Like, I don't believe there's any healing possible for me, or I'm going through some stuff and I don't understand it. When you see that process, you can take better control of your life. And that's the key. That is the key to ultimately health, is to empower yourself, take your own power back. Don't give it to other people to tell you what to do. But in order to be able to do that, you have to have confidence. To have confidence, you have to have education, which is why I'm mentioning these books. Now, there's another one. Louise Hay. A lot of people know about Louise Hay, Hay. Louise Hay wrote a book several years ago, You Can Heal Your Life. Extraordinary book. And it gives pages alphabetically of symptoms. And you can look at these symptoms and see what emotions are behind that, and what emotion you might be carrying, even subconsciously, that is holding on to this symptom. It might be weight, it might be pain, it might be confusion in the brain. All of these have emotional causes, because remember what I said at the beginning of the interview here. Water, H2O, steam, water, and ice. It's all the same thing. So we've got thoughts, emotions, and physicality. So dealing with all of that, those last 2 books I just referenced, The 12 Stages of Healing, You Can Heal Your Life. Those are excellent for that. And if somebody wants to go really in depth, one more book, really in depth, Louis Arando. I mean, this is a book, but if you really want to know a lot about what's going on overall, Louis, L-U-I-S, it's a different form of spelling. It's like the Hispanic form. It's called, you'll never forget this title. It's called Wolves, W-O-L-V-E-S, Wolves, Gardens, and Chocolate. You won't forget that. Wolves, Gardens, and Chocolate. So how you got to keep learning. You got to build healthy habits, because we can empower ourselves this way. We can decide. You see, human beings are not doers. A lot of people say, oh, we do this and we do that, and I do this and I'm on top of that. No, we are not doers. We are deciders. That is our spiritual mission. It's our spiritual beingness to be a decider. So you decide what is going to happen in your life. You create a habit and you work that habit, and you will change your life. I'm telling you, you've got it. And I've done this before in the other sections on how to, change your life with a 15 times exercise. But understanding our bodies, listening to your body, getting enough understanding as to how it works, like what I said about metabolism, so that you feel like, yeah, my body's telling me I really want bacon. I should eat some bacon, instead of, no, I won't eat bacon. I won't. It's salty and it's fat. No. But that could be exactly the secret to changing your metabolism. I tell people, make a couple pounds of bacon, keep it in the refrigerator as a snack. Snack on bacon. It's a wonderful thing for your body. There are other things too. So Joanne,
Terry, would you believe I've never had bacon?
oh my goodness, Joanne.
I've never had bacon. 52 years on this earth, and I've never had bacon. I might need to try some. I'll let you know how it goes. I'll let you know. But interesting fact here for our audience. Since I've been working closely with Terry, through our interviews that we have here, just general conversations off air, Terry has really retrained my brain regarding a lot of different things regarding food. And I have noticed a tremendous difference in how my body responds. And it really does take, at least from my end, a mind shift in regards to all the things that we've learned in the last 50 years. The health and fitness wellness industry, and I was just having this conversation with a client of mine earlier today, has really taught us the wrong way of doing things. And this is really about retraining our brains to getting moving into a healthy state of being, so we don't have to focus on dieting and restricting ourselves from things that we do want. Because like Terry says, if your body's saying, I want that bacon or I want that pizza, there's a reason why your body is craving it. And if you're not allowing yourself to indulge in the craving, you're actually doing a disservice to your metabolism. Is that correct, Terry?
Yes, it is, with one exception, because there are things, organisms in our bodies, such as mold and fungus and parasites, that send signals to our brains as to what we want. So you have to know right up front that all grains, nuts, and seeds are harmful to the body. So if you're craving those, it's those organisms that want them, because those things feed disease. Just have to put that up there.
Thank you. That's very useful information. So yes. So Terry, usually during this time, is there anything else that you have not touched on that you want to share during this time? Otherwise, I would love to give you a reading if there's nothing left for you to share. But if you do, we'll use that time. Well, when I say nothing left, there's so much left. I mean, we only have an hour to be here.
No, I would like to share something else, Joanne. I appreciate the offer of the reading, but I had skipped a whole section earlier, because what a lot of people don't realize is what the effect of metabolism can have on our lives. It can affect our brain health, our energy, our strength, our pain and discomfort levels. I mean, enormous shifts in pain and discomfort and aches when you get your metabolism right. Your blood pressure, your blood sugar, and your sleep. So many people are not sleeping right. And if I could only have them for an hour and I could teach them, do this, don't do that, do this. You're doing that, that's hurting you. It's so simple, but people just don't know. And like, as an example, it takes about 7 to 8 hours to process protein properly in your body. So if you eat, like a lot of people eat a heavy meal after 6 p.m. and then they go to bed before midnight, you can't sleep like that. I mean, yeah, maybe you are, but you're overcoming it because you're younger. Maybe as you get older, like once you get to 80, you really know what works, because if it doesn't work.
Yeah, I think theoretically speaking, by the time you get to 50, you start recognizing, and I've even said this myself, I hear my dad say it all the time, and he's in his late 70s. Your metabolism does shift, and what you were able to do when you were in your, let's say, 30s, 20s, and teens, you're not going to be able to do that same thing as you get older, because your metabolism is not the same. So as Terry was saying, as I really cut her off, be cautious of the timing. So if you're going to have a heavy meal and you know that you're going to be going to bed 3 hours later, you may not want to have that heavy meal. Have it earlier in the day so your body has time to work with it, to utilize it, so you can have a better night's rest. But Terry, you made a comment about you really wish you can work with people, and you can, because Terry can do this work with you virtually. Terry, one last time, let people know how they can reach you.
Terry is my first name. Terry is my email address. Terry@Morse, like my last name, MORSE, like Morse code, morsewellness.com. And, I can, start a communication where I could work with you individually if you want me to. I'd be happy to.
Excellent, excellent. So Terry, once again, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us today. I know I walked away with some amazing insight. I'm hoping all of our audience did too. And I do look forward to having you back here on August 28th as we dive into overcoming disease. So yes. So with that being said, I'm going to take a quick commercial break. I'll be coming back with the overview of today's show. So thank you again, Terry, for being here. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Joanne. My pleasure.
Thank you.
Each of us has a mission. What's your mission? Would you like to become a community health resource specialist so you can help your family and your community? For more information on this new training, email me at terry@morsewellness.com. That's TERRY @MORSE wellness.com. You can become a community health resource specialist.
Did you know that stress and unprocessed emotions can store in your body, creating more muscle tension and pain, causing illness and disease to flare up? With the help of Chakra Balance Reiki healing, you can begin to feel better within one session. Hello, I'm Reverend Joanne Angel Barry Cologne, your certified holistic personal trainer, intuitive healer, cosmic energy reader, medical astrologer, master of numerology, and the creator of the Chakra Balance Numerology Cosmic Energy Forecast Deck. And I would like to help you release issues from your tissues as you release emotional weight and begin to feel better physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. For more information, email healingwithin76@gmail.com. Hello and welcome back to Joanne's Healing Within. I'm your host, Joanne Angel Barry Cologne. And sadly to say, you are catching us at the very last end of today's show. So if you are just tuning in right now, please go back and watch on the replay. You could do so by watching Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Twitch TV, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and many other platforms. I'd like to thank again my amazing guest, Dr. Terry Morse, for being here. Had an amazing conversation about metabolism and gut health. Also want to give a shout out to all your amazing audience who shared today, shared your comments, shared the show out. If you haven't yet, please do. You have a few seconds. Now, I'm sure you're all interested to know who's coming on next week. I have my amazing new guest. He's going to be here for the very first time, Daniel Martinez-Stey, and I'm almost sure I'm saying the last name wrong. Our topic for next week is about life beyond form. There is a flyer with his information. Tune in next Sunday, 3 p.m. Eastern Time, and get to learn about Daniel and what he does. Now, again, just to give a shout out to all my amazing advertising partners that do so much in the world. There is a flyer with their information should you wish to reach out to them. So here we go. Nick Rafter, who is our real estate agent. Kendra Greer, our astrologer. CJ Ives Lopez, the author of Porch Podcast and Magazine, host and producer of. Kitty Foss and Amy Martin, who are the hosts of Intuition of Your Soul. Our amazing guest from today, Terry Morse from Morse Wellness. Joe Monkman, Spirit Messages and Energy Insight. And there you have it. There you have it. So once again, if you're interested in watching next week's show, come join us 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Same place, same time. All that being said, I'm super excited to be here with you. And feel free to share, like, and comment. Until next week, bye-bye for now.